Coming up on Around San Diego, multiple homes have been destroyed following a fire near a mobile home park in Lakeside. We hear from survivors and take a look at the aftermath. Plus, the Supreme Court has lifted restrictions on ICE enforcement here in California. We'll break down what it all means. And a controversial proposal did not get approved by the San Diego County Board of Supervisors, why some residents are still fighting the Cottonwood Sand Mine project. Hello to you and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us as we take you around San Diego. I'm CBS 8's Jenny Day. I'll get you caught up on our top stories and we'll look ahead at what's to come around San Diego. We begin with sentencing day. The owner of a San Diego-based porn website will spend decades in federal prison for coercing women into appearing in porn videos. More than 40 women spoke at the court hearing before a judge sentenced Michael Pratt to 27 years. The women came from different states and backgrounds to speak, but their accounts are similar. They say they were tricked by what appeared to be a modeling ad on Craigslist and then coerced into performing sexual acts on camera. Victims say that at least 15 women died by suicide after their videos were posted online, and dozens of others say the videos ruined their lives.
Hundreds of stalkers contacting me, texting my phone, emailing me at my university, emailing my colleagues, emailing my friends, my family.
Yeah, prosecutors think at least 500 women were victimized. The judge granted the victims the rights to their videos, giving them power to get their videos pulled off websites that are still posting them. And the San Diego City Council just approved an $875,000 settlement in a civil rights lawsuit against San Diego police. Marcus Evans sued the city after police shot him 3 times with beanbag rounds and unleashed a police dog on him. First, a warning, the video may be disturbing to you.
Hey, you guys got the biggest lawsuit in San Diego. Hey, stop! 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 Please!
Yeah, police responded to a disturbance, they say, last October at Evans' apartment in Southeast San Diego. Officers ordered everyone out. He exited with hands up, but refused police orders to come forward, instead questioning why officers were at his home. That's when police shot him with the 3 beanbag rounds before releasing that dog. Evans was not charged with any crime. And a Valley Center man is now headed to trial accused of fraudulently using his late foster mother's identity. Prosecutors say 33-year-old Cedric Von Ferdinand stole hundreds of thousands of dollars, forged documents, and transferred properties into his name after 65-year-old Nadine Jett vanished. Her remains were later found buried on her ranch. Von Ferdinand faces nearly 36 felony counts. A notary is also charged in this scheme after investigators found Von Ferdinand's thumbprint on documents giving him power of attorney. Prosecutors still don't know the cause of death for Jett, and so far, nobody has been charged in connection with her death. Well, multiple homes were destroyed and 1 person was hurt after a vegetation fire in Lakeside. It is fully contained now and evacuation orders have been lifted, but just in a matter of minutes, it spread from the Los Coches Road exit there on the 8 and then into the Monterey Mobile Lodge. Several residents jumped into action to protect their and their neighbors' properties.
What they did was take the hoses, wet down the fences, which were on fire, put out the fire on the fences, and also they went over that and made sure that the hillside was not, they put out the hot spots.
Glad they're okay. The cause of fire is still under investigation. And the Supreme Court has lifted restrictions on ICE enforcement in California. The ruling will allow what critics call roving patrols to resume, and that's instilling fear in many immigrant communities. University of San Diego immigration law professor Tammy Lynn says this only lifts restrictions temporarily while the case continues to play out.
I think I want people to understand is they're not saying blanket wide that this policy is okay. They're saying that they can continue to do these tactics until the case is heard through the courts up in the Central District of California.
The original order banned agents from stopping people solely based on race, language, job, or location. The Supreme Court offered no explanation for their decision. Most California leaders opposed the ruling, but in a statement to CBS 8, Congressman Darrell Issa says President Trump is, quote, acting within the law to enforce immigration policies and says it is restoring common sense and closing open borders, end quote. And San Diego County supervisors have voted to expand legal help for migrant children. The county's immigration legal defense program will now cover unaccompanied minors. This comes as federal funding for their legal aid is set to expire at the end of the month. Supervisor Tara Lawson-Reamer's office says that would have left more than 300 migrant children in San Diego County without representation. Well, this week, San Diego County supervisors also voted to approve a 5-point action plan to help address the long-running sewage crisis there in the South Bay. The plan calls for eliminating toxic hotspots in stormwater and drainage systems, upgrading air filters and ventilation systems in schools, conducting health and economic impact studies, and appointing a county sewage crisis chief. The plan will allocate $18 million from the county budget to fund these initiatives. And supervisors just rejected the controversial Cottonwood sand mine project. Developers hope to build the mine near Hamul to provide supplies for housing and infrastructure. Since 2018, residents have fought against the plan, citing traffic, health issues, and a negative impact on the environment. Coming up, new safety fixes are coming to a South Bay roadway with a dangerous past. What is changing on Telegraph Canyon Road? Plus, the San Diego City Council gives a unanimous yes to the Coastal Resilience Plan, what this means for Sunset Cliffs and other areas. Welcome back. Encinitas City Council member Luke Schaefer just pleaded not guilty to charges of felony assault and 2 misdemeanors. The charges detail a hit and run causing property damage and failure to perform a public duty. It began with a confrontation caught on surveillance video outside the alleged victim's Encinitas home on July 5th. Prosecutors say the alleged victim, Declan Caulfield, was out front when Schaefer got out of his truck and pushed over a trash can Caulfield was holding, threw a piece of styrofoam in his face, and then got back into his truck and reversed 15 feet.
Truck, right rear tire ran over one of the recycle bins, crushing it, and it hit the upraised palms of the victim, pushing him back several feet.
Yeah, Schaefer's defense team says the whole situation is being blown out of proportion. Schaefer was elected to the Encinitas City Council just last year. He also runs a real estate business and coaches high school lacrosse. If convicted on all counts, he faces up to 4 years and 9 months in prison. Well, paid parking at Balboa Park is being put on hold for now. The proposed ordinance to put parking meters in a portion of the park is heading back to city staff instead for review, after several San Diego City Council members said they did not support it. That includes Councilman Stephen Whitburn, who said he was hoping there would be an accommodation for seniors in the ordinance. The proposal will now be brought back up at next week's council meeting to give city staff time to work on it. And the San Diego City Council is moving forward with a coastal resilience master plan focused on flooding and erosion risks. It will focus on La Jolla Shores, Tourmaline Surf Park, Mission Beach, Dog Beach, Ocean Beach, and controversial changes there at Sunset Cliffs. The plan is to remove parking on the cliff's edge and reconfigure Sunset Cliffs Boulevard from a 2-lane north-south road to a single southbound lane.
Support of it. As long as we can keep the cliffs for as long as possible. I don't mind changing the traffic flow. I run on this 5 to 6 times a week. I want it to be here as long as possible.
A lot more traffic will be directed into the communities, which is going to be dangerous for the kids that are in the communities that play.
Yeah, it is so beautiful. Still unclear, though, what that exact timeline will look like. We'll keep you posted. And a stretch of Telegraph Canyon Road in Chula Vista is getting safety improvements following years of deadly crashes. The busy road serves as a main artery into East Chula Vista, where cars routinely speed well above the 50-mile-an-hour speed limit. The city plans to complete a traffic study within a month, and then within a year, officials plan to install updated signage and traffic calming measures like radar speed signs. There will also be a greater police presence. And a nonprofit group is suing the city of Oceanside over a massive warehouse project near the municipal airport. The recently approved 566,000 square foot development is planned for an area near Highway 76 and many homes. CBS 8 has previously reported on community opposition that has been fierce, with residents expressing concern about increased truck traffic and air pollution. In a lawsuit, advocates for the environment say the city's environmental review downplayed greenhouse gas emissions, ignored state climate standards, and relied on faulty data. City officials declined to comment due to pending litigation. Well, still ahead, one artist is using his talents to help solve cold cases in San Diego. We'll show you the latest projects he's working on and how he's inspiring others to do the same. Welcome back. The forensic artist we introduced you to at Comic-Con back in July is sculpting the face of another San Diego cold case victim, this time with help. Joe Mullins and his students are trying to identify a young woman found floating in the Tijuana River 3 years ago. Mullins works for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children to create 3D face replicas that help identify people who have gone missing or those who have been found but never named. He's also a professor at George Mason University in Virginia and is teaching forensic figure sculpting using a real-life cold case. The case involves a young Hispanic woman found floating in water near Hollister Street and Sunset Avenue, again back in the Tijuana River Valley in April of 2022. Starting with a replica of the victim's skull, Mullins is creating a sculpture of what she looked like, all while teaching the kids how to do the same.
So the ultimate goal every time I finish one of these facial approximations is find out who she is, get that family those answers, and bring on the next cold case.
Oh, I hope he can help. Once complete, Mullins will share those images of the final product in hopes of someone being able to recognize her face. Well, Veterans Affairs Secretary Doug Collins was in San Diego this week, praising San Diego's facility as one of the best in the country. He met with patients and discussed mental health services and suicide prevention. Despite the VA's nearly $600 million investment in suicide prevention, 17 vets still die by suicide daily. Local veterans advocate Scott Silverman says the VA is not doing enough.
Is it that we're the largest veteran and military community in the country, and half our veterans do not have benefits? What is with that?
Silverman says he would like to see more veteran input on improving services. And a new study finds 2 local airports had the greatest number of high-risk runway incursions or near misses with another aircraft, vehicle, or person. We are talking about San Diego International and Montgomery-Gibbs Executive Airports. The company, called Upgraded Points, looked at data from the FAA between 2021 and 2024 from more than 400 airports nationwide. A spokesperson for the city of San Diego, which oversees Montgomery Field, points to new high-tech measures that they are now taking to reduce its number of runway incursions. And right now, the arrivals road connecting terminals 1 and 2 at San Diego International is closed. Airport officials say it is part of the second construction phase for the new Terminal 1, and add the closure will allow safe access for construction crews. If you do need to travel between the 2 terminals, you'll be redirected to other routes at the airport. People walking between the 2 terminals can still use an outdoor sidewalk until September 22nd.
If you'd have luggage, that walk could be about 15 minutes. So we really encourage people to take our Terminal Loop shuttle bus, which you can pick up right in front of Terminal 1.
Yeah, so the last flight to leave out of the existing Terminal 1 will be there at 9 p.m. on September 22nd. About 15 minutes after that, incoming flights will begin arriving at the new Terminal 1 building, featuring 19 new gates. Excited to see it for myself. All right, the city of San Diego is stepping up its fight against potholes with a brand new fleet of patching trucks that promise to not only save time, but also money and the environment. CBS 8's Vanessa Paz shows us how they work and what it means for your daily drive in this On the Move report.
Living in San Diego, there's one thing most drivers can agree on: potholes.
I'm sure the people who do wheel alignments are happy about this because you hit these potholes pretty hard. You feel it. You can just feel it through your car's suspension.
They're not just annoying, but many say they're a safety hazard.
You're going to have to swerve out of the way. People are doing that to avoid potholes, which makes drivers go into the other lane.
But now help is here. The city of San Diego just added 4 brand new patch trucks to its fleet, bringing the total to 12. And these rigs are built to impress, with 360-degree cameras and two-way radios to help crews communicate.
The 360 view, that definitely helps our team in the field, gets a clear look at their surroundings.
They also feature safety sensors and strobe lights to keep crews visible, along with brand new built-in tools like an electric jackhammer and side chute-style bins for debris and an auger system to cut waste.
This new truck features what's called an auger system, which is basically a big drill, spins. It's more efficient, reduces less waste, and it actually expands the life of the vehicle overall.
But the biggest difference, everything is electric. That means heating materials without relying on truck gas, so crews can use less fuels and get more done in a single day.
We're able to tackle more jobs, and the material can stay hotter longer. We can there's actually an attachment feature we can plug in electronically. We can keep the material hot overnight.
David Gonzalez is with the city of San Diego. We rode along with him and his crews to watch it all in action. As crews shaped out the pothole, cleared debris, sprayed, then rolled down the fresh asphalt. Each truck can haul up to 5 tons of asphalt a day, enough to fill anywhere from 40 to 70 potholes. With more backups now available, trucks can stay on the street even when others are being serviced. The new fleet also comes as the city faces a smaller backlog, down to about 100 potholes today versus 300 just a couple of years ago. Their goal, heading into the rainy season with as few open repairs as possible.
Thanks, Vanessa. Good news for all of us. Still ahead, they've created a scent that is irresistible to coral, the surprising science behind new research that can help rebuild our oceans. Well, scientists at UC San Diego have created a scent they say is irresistible to coral, and it could help rebuild reefs around the world. In this Earth 8 report, CBS 8's Vanessa Paz introduces us to one of the researchers diving into the surprising science.
So these are the tanks.
Inside a small and temperature-controlled room at UCSD's Scripps Institution of Oceanography.
We are increasing the temperature in these tanks.
Associate researcher Daniel and his team start their day tending to an unusual nursery.
They feed on little tiny particles.
Tanks filled with baby coral.
It's our approach to enhance the growth.
These corals are part of a series of experiments aimed at reviving reefs threatened by warming oceans.
Are they looking good?
Pollution and disease, the main drivers of coral bleaching.
Bleaching is basically a stress response. When coral gets sick, essentially, it loses the main compartment that produces energy. So it's, you can imagine like an engine. And so these are tiny microscopic algae that live inside the animal. And primarily when it gets too hot, those algae are expelled from the tissue. And so then that makes the coral weak and can lead to death.
Now, Daniel and his team have a new tool.
This liquid, especially because when you shine light on it, becomes jelly.
SnapX, a scented gel that can be painted or sprayed onto damaged reefs or even 3D printed attachments like this one, made in their lab.
We try to create an environment that the baby coral likes.
Coral larvae are picky where they settle. They look for chemical cues from healthy reefs. SnapX uses natural chemicals from crustous coralline algae to mimic those cues.
On a degraded reef or an artificial reef, you don't have these chemical signals, or you have less of those, right? You might have signals that come from competitive algae that actually deters the coral larvae from settling. So you get an individual animal from the entire colony.
In lab and field tests, coral treated with SnapX attracted 20 times more larvae than untreated surfaces. It works immediately and lasts up to a month.
We've studied the main reef-building corals in Hawaii, and showed that these scents work for this coral, but we have more work to do.
Daniel and his team also developed Coral Guard
to enhance the survivorship of the recruits.
It's a protective coating that blocks harmful competitors from growing over new coral. And they've created a new particle that could reduce coral bleaching by lowering toxic stress chemicals inside the coral. And the best part, all of it, including SnapX, is made with natural biomaterials, essentially taking from nature to give back to nature.
The causes of reef degradation are man-made, so why shouldn't the solutions be man-made as well? For anyone that has been diving on a reef, you know the beauty. There's a high aesthetic value. Coral reefs are hotspots of biodiversity. About 1/4 of all marine life of biodiversity is hosted in coral reefs. At the same time, they are also a powerhouse in terms of the ecosystem goods and services they provide.
That is incredible. Great work. And hey, there's a new contender for the cutest fish in the sea. Scientists have discovered this tiny deep sea creature off the California coast, and it's capturing the internet's heart. It's called a bumpy snailfish, about 2 to 3 inches long is all. It's built for survival with specialized proteins for high pressure life and even a second set of jaws in its throat for crunching crustaceans.
These snailfishes are very well adapted to the high pressure, cold temperature, low light environment of that habitat, and they're thriving in an environment that we might think of as harsh, but to them is just home.
Cuties for sure, although the collection happened back in 2019, confirming the species took years of DNA sequencing and close analysis. And how about this? A new mural in downtown San Diego is honoring Padres player Jackson Merrill. The mural is still a work in progress with finishing touches expected in a couple of weeks. It's called Merrill Madness. It's 4 stories tall at Market and 8th Streets. The project was funded by Padres fans, and the artists are collecting money for the Merrill Madness Foundation. The foundation helps families cover the costs of youth travel, baseball, and softball. If you'd like to make a donation, we do have that link up on CBS8.com. Those Padres are doing amazing. Continue to do so. That'll do it for us. Thank you, as always, for your time. Thanks for staying informed. I'm Jenny Day. Take good care.